Turn on the camera. There we go.
Let me fix my shit. All right, man. I ain't gonna lie, AK. I was not expecting you to be hitting me up about this at this particular juncture, man. I'm gonna keep it all the way a beat. I was not expecting this at
Hey,
all.
look, this is my first time ever showing my face on the internet. Just coming out of behind the scenes. I'm always behind the scenes, but I felt like, it's about time. And what better platform than yours?
Damn. Okay, so we must have some things going on tonight. Chat, go ahead, hit that like button for you, boy. AK in the building. We got Ballislife in the building. My first question is always the same question for every single person that comes up here. First question is, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great.
Doing great.
Just put my son to sleep. I'm ready to have some good discussions here.
All right, man. I think we should just dive right into it, man. What is going on, man? What is the state of the community like? Like last night was insane to me. The night before last, what OTD posted. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Can you explain to me what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm sure I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen. We're having this 1v1 tournament, and the players are all flying in tomorrow. And about Cam, Burke, Day Day, who are all next chapter players, were a part of it. And this had been kind of locked in and planned since the beginning of February. So, I was, Sunday, I texted all the players, you guys all good? You've been to Ballislife events before. So, you get the itinerary and, make sure you're all set. And everyone was set. And then it was either Monday or Tuesday morning. A third party, like not anyone from the next chapter, not any of the players I woke up and I already had like 2 missed calls and a text from this person saying like, hey, just a heads up, like you're gonna get a call today, and like, just be ready for it. And I was like, I can't call this person. I'm like, why is this so cryptic? I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they said like I want to give these guys an opportunity to tell you themselves, but they kind of alluded to the fact that like the 3 next chapter guys will not be coming to the tournament. So I'm like, okay, and knowing this information and kind of having to sit on it is hard. So I'm like, the day's going by, and I'm like, okay, like when's somebody gonna hit me up? And week of a tournament, week of an event, to pivot that fast is already, it's kind of like a stressful, it's pretty stressful. And, like it happens, it's part of the game, but having to replace 3 players, and let's be real, like some of these guys are very popular. Like having to replace Cam, you got to find someone who's going to bring as much like demand. Day Day and Burke, those guys are, fan favorites. And so not only do you have to replace players, you can't just like replace them with local guys. You have to go find like people who are going to be just as good for the series. So I'm waiting. I don't hear anything back. And at this point, I send the itinerary to the players to see if I can fish anything. And I don't hear back. The next day comes. I don't hear anything. And for me, at this point, I started feeling a little like disrespected, because I'm like, if this random third party hadn't given me the heads up, I'd be going about my week. Today's Friday. Like, who knows? We may have gotten to Friday and nobody would have said anything besides maybe like tonight or tomorrow morning, like, oh, sorry, like we're not coming. And that possibility, that's like what really upset me. So eventually I got a hold of the players, and they said, we're trying to figure it out. And I don't hold anything back against the players. These guys, they want to be here, and it's always nothing but love. I think they're trying to figure out between the next chapter and themselves on like what's going on. And I was told that somebody from the next chapter was gonna call me to tell me what's going on. So like the players, I guess we're under the understanding too. So we're waiting and waiting. And it was positioned in a way where like it may happen and it might not. We're working on it. So I'm like, okay. So Wednesday comes, still nothing. And at this point, I like start hitting up other players. Like I don't want to find myself in a situation where it's last minute and I can't find anybody. So I get ahead of it, and eventually Wednesday night, the players texted me like, "Hey, like we're still waiting. We haven't heard anything back." And finally Thursday morning,
The players
I
who? The
just took
players who?
deliberate.
You talking about the 3 players from TNC?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cam, Burke, and Day Day.
Okay.
Um, so the next day, I just took the liberty. Thursday morning, I took the liberty to just call Scotty, and as you guys know, Scotty used to work at Ballislife. We've had a long relationship, and we had our relationship with was a good one when he was working on Ballislife. I think we still have respect for each other now, even though obviously he does his own thing. I do mine, and there's differences sometimes, but it's definitely have respect for what he does and what he's done. So yeah, I asked Scotty, like Scotty, and already Scotty was on the defense because by then a lot of the story posts had gone up, and I was like, look, I just want clarity. Are these players coming or are they not? And it was basically said that like they're not coming. The way it was said was, it's up to the players, but if they kind of like it was always said in a way where like it's their choice, but if they go, then like they break their contract with the next chapter and like you know whatever that means. So it's clear I'm never gonna put the players in a situation where like they should mess up something long term. So that was then that call, and I think again I was upset that I had to take somebody who wasn't the players, who wasn't anyone from the next chapter, had found out and like was honorable enough to give me the heads up and tell me, and then eventually I had to like take the liberty to like call, and again like my mind can't help to go to places like where was this like trying to be were they trying to sabotage it? Because if day of, there's no way you can find players, and 3 players missing, and in a 1v1 tournament with 8 players, you can't even have the tournament. There's a lot, purchase flights, Airbnbs, gym, staff, camera guys, refs. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Now, I will give credit. Scotty did agree to refund for the flights, so I definitely want to make sure I say that because I'm not trying to like paint any wrong pictures here. But yeah, that's what happened, and I think going through this situation, it was obviously very upsetting. It was stressful, and we all jumped to conclusions, and you don't know the intentions. It could have been bad. It could have been neutral. It could have been good. But I just know my experience, and that was my experience.
I want to ask you this question. And I want to try to put myself in you and Scotty's shoes. If let's say 3 BIL players were headed to next chapter for a C or for a one-on-one tournament, let's flip it. And let's say you call the 3 BIL players and you say, well, if you guys go here, this may not happen at Ballislife anymore. Isn't that, and this is me asking, is it more up to the platform to call you and tell you, hey, I just told the players that if this happens, they can't come to TNC anymore, so they're about to make a decision? Or is it up to the players to say, yo, AK, I'm not going over there, or I am going over there? You feel what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I think if in that case, if I was in charge, I would definitely make it so like I would give them the players like here you can't go to that, and like it would be up to them to tell whoever wherever event they're going to. But if we came to an understanding that like the players wanted me to talk to them on their behalf and we agreed to that, then I would. I'm not sure if that's what happened or not, but that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like alluded to. But it would be if I told the players they can't go to an event, then like it's kind of on them to tell the event or organizer.
And I will say this, and this is just me talking as to what I would do, because I'm not in Burke, Day Days, or Cam position, so I don't know what they're thinking. But if I were making a decision, I would let you know. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what I would do. I'm not saying those guys are wrong with what they did at all. All I'm saying is I would tell you, yo, AK, I'm not coming to the event anymore. That's what I wouldn't let nobody else speak for me. That's what
I
I'm
hear that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear that. And
Oh, and
we don't know.
before you go, please explain to the people who you are really quickly.
Oh, I'm a lot of people call me AK. You heard people say it in the videos to like talking to somebody in the background. I'm one of the co-founders of Ballislife. I do a lot of our YouTube basketball series nowadays. I've made a lot of the Ballislife mixtapes, some of the classics. Been with Ballislife since day one. A fan favorite you probably know is King of the Court series. That was kind of my baby, and yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah. So what were you saying, brother?
Oh, I was saying we don't, I don't really know exactly what was going on behind the scenes and how those conversations went. So, you know, I can't really. I'm not gonna make assumptions, and I'm not gonna like put words in anybody's mouth.
Now I will say this: if somebody is locked into an event and they back out, the person that is doing the event deserves a call.
Yeah,
That's just bottom line. That's just facts. I don't give a fuck who it's from, but the person that is running the event does deserve a call. I'm gonna definitely say that. I'm gonna give you that for sure. So however that unfolded is I don't know verbatim how it went. You're just telling your side of the story. I know their side of the story. I know the player side of the story. So at the end of the day, did you find replacements?
I found replacements. I'm pretty happy with where we've ended up. I think, man, I was really hoping if probably we had like if I had found out the day of confirmation the day of, I may have been able to lock in one or two guys I was really hoping for, but we ended up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ready to reveal it yet. Um, at this point, I just don't want to jinx it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about that event or about that situation that occurred?
I want to say, I think, and maybe this could help us jump into the next discussion is like if players were already committed and like kind of like putting them in a position where like they have to like pick and choose like us or them. I think I disagree with that approach
Why?
because if it was this close to an event in a community where it's pretty we all know each other, um we all use the same players, we're all we're all friends. We may not all be like close, but like I'm super close to Nas. There's guys that you're super close to that I'm super close to. It's just such a small community, and like I think this past year, this community has really benefited from everybody kind of letting the barriers down and getting along.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially like this late into this close to a tournament, I feel like there was a power move element to it.
Okay. In terms of what though? Like the power move, you feel what I'm saying? You got to break that down for me. And for the people
Yeah,
that may not
power
understand.
move. Yeah, as far as like the power you have over the players, um, and in this situation, and kind of like maybe if you're like hey, we don't mess with Ball's life, we don't want you to got it like, and you own up to it, like it is what it is, but kind of like putting it in a situation where like it's your choice, but if you go, we won't work with you anymore. Um, I feel like that. I don't know. Like I understand it's a business, and like let me say this first of all. The next chapter, currently the best iteration of YouTube basketball, and they obviously know what they're doing. They know how to run their business, and if that's how they want to run their business, like great, more power to them. And if they don't want to mess with Ball's Life and don't want to let their players go on other platforms, just say like we don't fuck with those other platforms. And we don't want you going there. But I think saying it in a way where like it's up to you, it's your choice. It's a little. I don't want to throw this word around too loosely because it's a little charged word, and like it's just because I can't think of a better word to use right now. But it's a little bit manipulative.
Oh, so okay, you think the next chapter is manipulating their players by strong arming them, basically.
Again, manipulative is a very charged word. I only use that because I couldn't think of a better word. But I think leaving it in the position, rep, structuring it that way and presenting it that way. It's there's better ways to go about it. Just say like we don't fuck with Ball's Life. It's fine. I respect it. We're in at the end of the day, we are in competition together. We're in America. Capitalism exists, and that's just the nature of the game. It's fine.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna be totally honest with you, AK. I really feel like y'all don't fuck with each other. Let's just keep it a bit like, all right. So let's just put everything on the table. BIL don't mess with TNC. TNC don't mess with BIL. We could just keep it 100, bro. We could keep it 100.
I would not say that's true. I think I've gone out of my way this past year to bring down kind of like bring down the barriers, and we've had conversations behind the scenes, and they've been good conversations. They've been cordial and in a very like respectful way. Like you know there's we have a history, we have a past. We're not going to be friends, but I have respect for what you do. I've celebrated when players that have been discovered by Ball's Life end up on the next chapter. I've continuously recommended players to appear on the next chapter, and I really genuinely do think this community is at its best when we all work together, when we come together, and everybody just kind of like just treats it as we all have one common goal, which is like create a space where we want to provide a place for players to play basketball and make money and a living from YouTube basketball. Like now go overseas, and I think it's a lot easier to build that space when there's multiple platforms than when there's just one.
So I want to ask you this question because I've been watching YouTube basketball before I was on YouTube basketball. Like I've been watching basketball since like y'all had East Coast, West Coast. So
Mm-hmm.
my only question to that would be y'all want integration, but I want to ask you specifically, were any of the East Coast guys allowed to go anywhere else when they were playing for y'all?
Oh yeah.
Was
The
there an
only place
example of
we
that?
didn't allow East Coast, the only time Balls Life guys were not allowed to go somewhere was when the breakup first happened and we were all hurt. Both sides were hurt, and in the state of hurt, we are all human beings. Yeah, we said that's the only place you can't go is at the time it was what the Wild Hunt. Other than that, you're free to collaborate with everyone.
Why not the Wild Hunt? Wasn't that Slim at the time?
Yeah, Slim and Scotty.
Oh man, y'all. Okay, so okay. I'm about to break you down. Hold on. What?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be honest. Like there was a time where yeah, when Ball's Life and Scotty, we ended our relationship. It was very painful. It was nobody won in that situation, and it was very unfortunate. And it was I don't want to say necessary, but like it had just come down to that. Whether there was we just like we were going our separate ways. And um, yeah, you have to look at it as like a partnership ending. And just like any relationship that ends, there's people get hurt and people hold grudges. And yeah, for a little bit, we definitely said there's only one place you can't go, and that's
So,
where it was.
so was that during the time when Slim made that video? He made a video addressing why he left East Coast.
Yeah, I was right then. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now my next question would be is since because I feel like there's um a power struggle of players. Like I want this
Is
player,
there?
yeah, he wants this player, he wants that player. So I want to ask you directly, like since East Coast to West Coast, how many players, or not how many players, what players have like BIL developed since
Since
like
East Coast,
since
West
since
Coast.
East Coast? So it's like since the one-on-one scene has like been like a thing. Like how many players have, what players have BIL developed?
Like discovered, and then
Yes,
there
discovered.
had appeared nowhere before.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say a handful. I think after the East and West Coast squads kind of ended, we took this approach of like we don't want to like sign players anymore. We want to use our platform to kind of like create use it as a platform to like amplify players and put on great events, um, feature many players from the community. I think while we didn't discover Nesco, we played a big hand. While we didn't discover Nas, we definitely uh, with some of the Nesquik stuff and the balls live off the dribble thing, he was able to kind of achieve that. Well, we helped him on his path to becoming the number 1v1 player.
Yeah.
Trey Croft, uh, Ray Jean, Bird. I mean, Vern. He appeared on Ball's Life many times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, if you're asking this question to like compare it to like
That's what I'm saying.
how many came,
Here's my only thing, and like I feel like the power struggle and the struggle with TNC specifically is that, right? Is like, okay, Nas was founded. I'm just keeping 100 with you, bro. I don't.
yeah, Nas was founded by Scotty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Nas, how can I say this? Nas, Rob, Kel was on the scene because he played school before. A lot of these guys, Moon, Isote, shit. When Friga, when they collab with Friga brought all his guys like Scar, Cam, J. Lou, etc., etc. And I just feel like their feeling right now is that they're being oversaturated. To that you say what?
I I hear that concern. That's always a fear as a creator. So, I hear that concern. I don't think it's really played out that way necessarily. A, B, I think by that same token, you look at the biggest event they just did, and like who are all the guys they used? Zay, Nesco,
Mm-hmm.
Scoob. Nas can go both ways, but I mean, we never heard us off the dribble or June's League or whomever say like, "Hey, those are our guys." We all celebrated, and I get it. Now, guys like, there's guys who've only appeared on the next chapter, who aren't around anymore, who didn't appear anywhere else. There's guys who appeared on the next chapter or Friga Fam, and have appeared many times on all the platforms, and they're still like very relevant. So I don't think it's really played out that way. I think I understand where the fear comes from, but I don't think it's played out that way.
Bro, to be honest with you, I think the way Nas has gone about his thing, like the way Nas has developed his own channel. I know you guys have had a big help in that as well, bigging him up. But I think him also having his own channel helps him a lot, and I feel like
Oh
players
yeah.
having their own channel can help them a lot in terms of leveraging wherever they can go. To that, you say what?
Yeah, I mean, look, when Nas says I'm the motherfucking blueprint, it's not just in 1v1, but the guy, I mean, Nas and I talk, multiple times a day. He's full of ideas. He's very, he's very just motivated, and not just in basketball, but in everything. Um, he thinks many steps ahead, and he's kind of got that like, I understand I'm not going to be able to play basketball forever. And he uses the same motivation he has for basketball towards all other aspects. So, yeah, I mean, Nas has done a great job, great
Yeah,
example to point to of like a path to follow.
yeah,
But, not everybody is a Nas.
yeah. Bro, can I? What happened? What happened with you and Scotty, bro? What happened with Bil and Scotty? Like, cause it seems like there is. I'm sorry, AK. Listen, man. I went to college for sports broadcasting, and
Uh-huh.
one of my classes was body language, bro. I'm sorry.
Body language.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what is my body language telling you?
I could tell with you and Scotty, man. So what happened?
It was,
What happened?
uh, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah,
Um, I'll say this. Uh, when Austin brought on Scotty to like in that at the end of that, what happened to the East Coast Squad video, and like the reason Scotty gave, I'll just say that revisionist history in a nice way. Um, I think Scotty and myself, we had for Scotty had been with Ballislife for years, and like it was, you know, we would talk multiple times a day, and he was very talented, very motivated, very ambitious. And when you have someone like that, um, I think he wanted things to be his way. But when you're part of a team, when you're part of an organization like Ballislife, um, there's you gotta work within a team. And it was there was always like push and pull, and eventually led to some um very unfortunate events that we felt betrayed by. And you know eventually had to go our separate ways. um but we're grateful for the East Coast squad. We're grateful for all he did. And like, to this day, East Coast squad is still the most successful YouTube basketball entity.
yeah.
So you know definitely gotta like give respect where it's due, give credit where it's due. But as far as like exactly what happened, I don't know if I'm really willing to talk about that, but maybe you'll hear it by somebody else from Ball's Life
Man,
another day.
because this is just so much of a staple in the community, AK, bro. I don't work with y'all. I don't work with Scotty I don't work with y'all a few times. I don't work
Yeah,
with Scotty. You know what I'm saying? I've been working with Scotty for the last 3 years. 2 years, I mean. So it's like I can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see it, and it's very evident. It's very, I think it's
yeah,
very evident to the point where it gets petty on both sides.
yeah. Look, Scotty, his one of his strengths is he always has a chip on his shoulder. And you know, I think that also leads to like he's always gonna have that like thing where like in the back of his mind it's always fuck Ball's life. And you know it is what it is. I respect it. If it motivates him, it motivates him.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say hypothetically, all the TNC guys that were, if all the TNC guys that were originally on TNC and the guys that they found are go and be bought into TNC and exclusive to TNC, can Ballislife develop more players for their roster to where they didn't even have to use anybody on TNC's roster at all.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what we have to do, then like,
Yeah.
whenever there's a void, something always comes in and fills that void.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think, excuse me, again, if I don't think exclusivity is
Let's talk
it's
about
their
that.
business. If yeah, it's from a business standpoint, if that's what makes the most sense for their business, great. I don't think exclusivity is the best for the players.
Yeah.
I think a few players win from exclusivity, but I think a lot of them get swept under the rug or they don't see. I think they kind of like are sold on this like dream and promise of like, ooh, like if I just get there, and like some of them may never get there. And you can say that's on the players, but again, like why have that when they're not like working with you and they're 3 weeks out of the month, maybe more. Why can't they just like use a couple of those days to go make some money somewhere else? They
Mm-hmm.
can. Are they allowed to go get like a 9 to 5 job, like a part-time job somewhere else?
You talking about if they're
Just like
working
a
with
regular
TNC?
job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's not the most advocating for the players, but from a business standpoint, like if it makes sense for the business, great. It makes sense for the business, and I think if we just like say it that way, great. But if we're trying to build a space where, again, we want as many people as possible to make a living and earning in YouTube basketball, I don't think many players benefit from that. I think it'll be top heavy.
So, what do you think inclusivity does?
I think inclusivity, again, it really provides for those like a Nas. Look, I think Nas is set. There's some guys who are like, it doesn't matter, but inclusivity, you go from you've been to Balls Life events,
Mm-hmm.
and well, you never did off the dribble, but a lot of times what happens is guys come California to Balls Life event. We shoot for 3 days, and then they go to off the dribble because we're both from the same area, and in a span of like a week and a couple of days, they go home making a lot of money, very respectable amount of money, and then they may go to June's League, they may go to TNC, um, and a lot of these guys are appearing pretty consistently on all these platforms, um, and I think that's kind of like the cycle as the space grows and as the space gets more and more structured and uh, more and more money flows into the space, more and more opportunities get dispersed. And yeah, that's kind of what happens with inclusivity. And I believe, again, Next Chapter can achieve what they want to accomplish within the inclusivity structure.
What do you think? What do you think are some of the cons?
What are the cons?
Because I feel
I don't
like
know if I'm just
if
being biased because I can't really think of a con right now.
if a player, all right, so a player may come on your platform and play well that week, and then he takes, and I'm not saying he shouldn't, whatever he wants to do, the player, he's a grown man. I've been saying this. AK, I also been saying this a lot too, bro. We dealing with grown ass men.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, either to me, it's two decisions. You could go work with TNC and then as a result also work on your platform because TNC will help you with your platform. I've seen them literally fly to a Street Stars event and film J-Lu and Cam's one-on-one. So they will help you with your platform. You can either take that route or you can take the BIL OTD route, June's League route, and just go collect you because some hoopers just want to be hoopers. Some hoopers
Some
just
people just
want
want
to
to be
hoop.
hoopers. That's just the reality.
But listen. I feel like some of the cons are if his ass get belted. Come on, AK, you ain't calling him back. If he gets belted, go ahead.
Two things. I think who was it? ISO Tay. He started off taking a lot of L's and he's still around. A lot of guys taking a lot of L's. They've come back. I think if your game is exciting, people see it and people say bring so and so back. I mean, it's really easy to like pass the eye test Like you can clearly see it when like, okay, like this guy lost, but he's sick. Like he brings the energy. He's got his game. It's like flashy game. He's got moves. He's got a bag. He's got counters, and it's really easy to spot those. And usually guys get multiple opportunities. The guys who didn't get a call back, you know, that was probably like they got their one shot and they were just space was just not meant for them. And then on the case of inclusivity, like again, Next Chapter really benefited from inclusivity in their most recent event in the season 2, chapter 2, season 1, and the pay-per-view.
Go ahead, elaborate.
Nesco, Scoob, Zay, those guys made the pay-per-view.
I feel like, and my only rebuttal to that is Zay did he had a one-on-one on BIL. I'm gonna give you that. He had a one-on-one on BIL against Nas and OTD. So I completely agree with that. Inclusivity with those 3 guys for sure. So I mean, to be honest with you, bro, the players got to choose.
The players got to choose. All right, I can mess with that.
I've been saying that. That was my argument last night. What route do you want to take? And to me, neither route is wrong. Do you want to invest in yourself and invest in a potential, like, if you want to go and I do want to say this as well. To me, if you go stupid in 1-1-on-1 and then I don't see you again until next month, I do think, that's my personal belief. This is nobody telling me this. This is from what I've seen. This is my personal belief. Your stock will rise higher because the demand for you will be higher. But if I see you Monday on one platform, Wednesday on another one, Thursday on another one, I spend a block next week and I see you on the one you was on Monday, I'm seeing you too much, AK. I'm seeing you too much.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
So it's just like, yeah.
Okay. That's, if there's a con, you can say there's a con, but I think just nature of the game right now.
I feel you.
And some guys, yeah. Yeah. I think if you wanna run your business on the exclusivity model, great. I think just kind of own up to it instead of like saying it's up to the players and it's their decision. It's like, no, bro, like just say they can't. I know they're grown men, but I don't know. That's just like it's a power move. It's just a power move.
Why do you think it's such a power move? These listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. These dudes,
because like what they're gonna say. It's like, like most of this. I mean, these guys, they have families. They're gonna pick something where like, okay, I know on the next chapter I'm gonna appear for the next. I don't know how long that contract's for. I don't know for the duration of this contract, I'm gonna get this amount. And when you're like, okay, well, you can go to this Ballislife event, but if you do, you're gonna lose out on this. But hey, it's your choice. It's like, I'll just say like, you're under contract. You're not allowed to go. That's it.
I mean, I don't believe there's contracts there though. You believe there's contracts there?
I believe so.
AK, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm with the grown men route. I'm with the listen. At the end of the day,
you
bro,
can never go wrong with the grown men route.
Because but you're looking at somebody that had 1-1-on-1 and built his platform based off 1-1-on-1. So like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I always was about.
Wait, who are you referring to, by the way?
Huh?
Who are you referring to, by the way, with the 1-1v1?
Cash.
Oh.
I had 1-1-on-1 with Cash, and I built my entire platform based off 1-1-on-1.
Yeah.
So, like, what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, I have the power to tell you yes or no. I don't give a fuck what you dangling over my head, whether it's Ballislife, OTD, or Next Chapter. I could tell you no. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, to me, the player has the power, and I feel like they don't understand how much power they have by simply creating their own platform and posting consistently on their platform. Cam So Smooth, if he was consistently posting, he would get 60,000 views easily if he just posted once a week. They just posted a one-on-one with Pat So Wavy is going to hit 50 to 60,000 views. You mean to tell me that's about $600 in your pocket? If you do that once a week,
Yeah.
or twice a week, right? Where you're posting one video here, two videos there. One, you build a fan base. Two, you're building your platform, like I just said. And also, you ain't gotta be outside as much, taking matchups you really don't want to take, but you want to go over there and get this cheese real quick. AK, you cannot tell me there's not been situations where a player really didn't want that matchup, but they took that matchup because they wanted cheese. I'm a battle rap fan. I've seen battle rappers do that where they don't really want that matchup, but they take it because the cheese is there.
No, I mean, look, I do agree. I think the players don't realize how much power they have. And yeah, by that same token, the players, if all three of those players decided that, like, to kind of band together and say, whatever, I'm not just saying this to my event, but like the players have a lot of power than they think. So
They
if
do.
the players like us, the platforms, we need the players just as much as they need us. And if you all decide that like you're doing something, we're gonna cave. It is what it is. And like that's why my approach is very advocating for the players, and that's worked for me. And hey, to each their own. But the players have a lot of power, and we need them just as much as they need us.
So I will say, this is really simple to me. AK is exclusivity versus inclusivity. You're on the inclusivity side. They're on the exclusivity side, and whatever happens within the next 2 years, next 3 years, whatever, it is what it is. Now I'm telling you for them. I'm telling you for them. They exclusive. They're trying to be exclusive. So if I gotta tell you, I'm gonna tell you. They trying to be exclusive, AK.
Yeah, I hear. Look, we're having this conversation not because I really care about the exclusivity. We're just, having a discussion at this point. I was put in a position where I was gonna go about my week thinking 8 guys are coming tomorrow and only 5 were gonna arrive, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I really don't. I think you have a great point there. And I'm not even going to argue with you on that point, because communication is deserved on that end. I don't care how you feel about that person. But at the end of the day, if somebody is throwing an event and 3 players committed and 3 players back out, the person that is throwing that event deserves, yo, I'm not coming anymore, bro. From them, or if the person said that he was going to call, he need to call. I'm always keeping 100 on that point. Facts. So, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, AK. Any last words for the people, man? We've been on here 45 minutes, man.
Damn, that went by fast.
Yeah, I could do this all day. If you have anything else to talk about, we can talk about it, bro. Because I know you're not going to be on here for a long time. This is probably like a one-time thing for you. And I also wanted to make sure you got all your viewpoints out, and I'm able to speak on all the TNC's viewpoints. You feel what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
yeah.
You feel me? So
I hear that. I don't know if there's any more, at least for now, I want to say about like Ballislife or TNC situation. I think I can speak more about the whole YouTube basketball and like why Ballislife got into YouTube basketball and why we're continue. I think, well, in order to speak on that, I have to give a little history about Ballislife, because some people are very in tune with Ballislife and like kind of like the type of company or content we used to put out, and a lot of people who just know us from YouTube basketball. But before there was YouTube, before there was Instagram, TikTok, all these social platforms, back in 2005, Ballislife, Matt Rodriguez, who's like the actual founder of Ballislife, my business partner, he wanted to kind of like start filming high school basketball players, and like we want to know, like, okay, they're all this NBA talent, where did they come from? And again, there was content creation. Being a content creator wasn't a thing then. So that's how Ballislife was born. We started going to high school games, through like looking on ranking websites. You can kind of like get a sense of like who to go after. So we started with Brandon Jennings, Derrick Roses, and that class. Um, we had a website. We would post on message forums to kind of get the word around. There was no social media, and as we grew and the social platforms and YouTube started coming along, like we were the first basketball channel, first basketball account that wasn't the NBA on all these platforms. And our mission was, it first started out going after like the future NBA stars, but then it was like talented, kind of like in the YouTube basketball scene, just like talented basketball players who just like all they need is the exposure. So we the amount of the amount of players who were just at the right place, right time, who appeared on Ballislife, who had zero college offers to ended up getting like some just needed one offer and some multiple. Um, it was a very like rewarding and fulfilling thing of just like putting players on, providing opportunities, and like creating this like high school basketball is so massive now, especially with NIL. I mean, it's like a multi-billion-dollar business, you know what I mean? And now that it's kind of gotten to this point, it's like Ballislife, there's so many players in the game now, we can't be that effective. So when COVID hit in 2020 and we were kind of like forced to go
Pivot.
outside and like, hey, yeah, let's go, let's take some players to the park. And what's that about? And then how like that caught fire and got super popular. It was obviously like something needs to be successful for it to make business sense, but at the same time, like some guys were like security working overnight shifts, some guys were just like working part-time jobs. And Frank, everybody's heard Frank Nitty's story, and I'm not saying like Ballislife is the only reason, excuse me, he is who he is, but he was a manager at Verizon, and all of a sudden these guys are playing park basketball 4 times a month and making a very, very respectable
How old was he
salary.
there? How old was he
Frank?
when? Yeah, how old was he when y'all first discovered him?
Well, when we saw him in the Drew League years ago, he's what, like 36 now. Sorry to throw your age out there, Frank, but this is 20. He was
Damn.
like 31, 32. And Frank, dude,
Yeah, he was
you've
in
been
his
around
30s.
Frank. Yeah, he was in his 30s, and Frank is like he's like, oh, I'm too good for this park basketball thing, and it took a minute for him to like really like wow, this thing's bigger than like anything else I've been a part of. But anyway, just kind of like the direct impact we were having on these guys who were just like, again, just on their everybody was on their own journey in life and trying to figure it out, and working, not the most. I think people were still early on in their journey, and all of a sudden they went from, again, like I said, somebody was working security overnight and somebody was a trainer and whatever the case may be, to now all of a sudden playing basketball 4 times a month and making a very respectable living. And it just kind of like reignited this spark of like, wow, we're making a direct impact, and like we all want to continue making this direct impact. And I can't take all the credit or for what YouTube basketball is. Nick Chapter's played a big part. A lot of people have played a huge part in it. Friga, Dev, but the fact that we can, like, the Rilla dude who Moon just played. I mean, the guy went from just like appearing in a video to now like what, 20,000 followers. It's crazy how the impact you can have in this space. And what's better is everyone's adults with like the high school basketball space. It's like you're not gonna like have build like a friendship or a relationship with a high school kid. But yeah, these guys are all my friends now, and I know their families, they know mine, and we get when we go on trips, it's like a lot. It's almost like we're all on vacation together. And yeah, that's just like why we've stuck with YouTube basketball, is because just the impact it has and the opportunities it provides, and we want to continue doing that.
What's next? I'm not even going to cap. I like the OTD versus Ballislife series. And that's just me
No,
keeping
I
it 100
appreciate
with
that.
you. I like that series a lot. That was a good series.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, from Balls Life does so many different things. I, have to take some meanings out there, but really like my passion is YouTube basketball. So if we're talking strictly YouTube basketball, again, the goal is to bring King of the Court back. The goal is to do more. There's a lot of things in the works with, like sponsors and like just to like legitimize the space even more and like
Yep.
create more opportunities. Like the Nesquik thing, that was kind of like a glimpse into like branding a lot of what we do and providing value, providing content, and at the same time providing more and more opportunities, again making this more official for everyone. And talking about Nesquik, I'm still, I know the fans are fucking pissed that some of those matchups were outside, and look, I was just as mad, but I had
AK,
no
I was
control over that.
pissed. I get to tell you this
I
now,
was
boy.
pissed.
I was mad. I was like, huh?
Look,
But fuck it.
imagine being at the event and you're like, man, if only this was inside. If only this was inside.
AK, I'm glad I can tell you this
I was
now.
dying on the
I
inside.
keep it 100 with you, man. I hated that shit, dog. I did, brother.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't blame you.
It's all good. It's all good. I ain't tripping no more, man. I'm over it. I'm way over it. I'm way over it.
Yeah.
I'm way over it, bro. But it is what it is, bro. But I think a lot of things are in store within the next. A lot of decisions will be made in the next 6 months, man. And like I said, I think it wasn't on the floor before, and I think it's on the floor now. I think there's a line drawn in the sand now that needed to be drawn, and that's just me being totally transparent with you. So whatever happens next is up to y'all, up to TNC, up to the players, up to OTD, what they want to do. That's literally what it is now, AK. Because now it's in the sand.
Yeah. Hey, look, competition brings the best out of people. So, hey, whatever it is,
Oh man,
we're ready.
man. I ain't gonna lie, AK. I wasn't expecting this tonight, man. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this, man. I wasn't expecting the text. I wasn't expecting the hit up, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Then we got Matt in here, OTD in here, going crazy the whole time we talking. I'm trying to.
See, I made it a point not to. I'm just on Discord. I'm not watching the live right now. I
Brother.
don't want to be
Man,
distracted.
I'm looking like oh my God, they're going stupid here. But bro, first of all, I appreciate you stopping by. First of all, I appreciate you speaking your piece and also answering all the questions I asked you. That's number one. So appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes, sir, Brody. Appreciate it. Anytime you want to come up and pull up again, man, just let me know.
Sounds good. This was fun.
Yes,
I
sir.
may take you up on the offer.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Later.
Chat.